episode left before season 2 is done. I'm a little sad. Not really, because it's not like I'm not coming back, but we're taking a break. Because usually that's what seasons are for, right? So I want, you guys to be interactive, ask all the questions, all the doubts that you have, all the concerns. Tonight and next Thursday is the last 2 episodes, so please go on and, if you want to hop on for a bit, you can. Right now, any of you who have a question, thoughts, and concerns, if you have any ideas for the next season, you're more than welcome to chat with me right now. Dylan will be on around 7:15ish, so we can get, talking about Son of Sam. But it's funny because I'm talking a little bit about it. I did watch the Son of Sam a while back when it first came out, and for some reason I was just bored. I was bored with that documentary. I don't know if they did a really good job with it on Netflix. I was supposed to rewatch it, but unfortunately I got busy with work. I got busy with my career and shit. So, which this is my career too, but I didn't have time to watch. So I want to hear your thoughts on what you guys think of the Son of Sam documentary. Because how's the art film? So, due to the strike with Hollywood right now, everything is in standstill. I can't do much. So until this whole strike is cleared and people can go back to work and actors like myself can actually go and get auditions again, we really can't do much. So the best that we can do is just gather information, prep everything so that once the strike is over, we can get back to work. Because we were actually railroading through everything, and now we're like, fuck, now we're back and just standing still. I didn't even bother watching the documentary. I watched like the first or 2 episodes and I was like, this is boring. I changed it. 2 questions, please. Yes, my love. What are the questions? Mi amor, no me voy a ir. I'm not leaving anywhere, but we do need a break. Like a month or 2, maybe 6 months. I don't know. It depends how busy we're getting. I'm getting really busy with my work. There's other stuff that are happening that I will let you guys know along the way. Good, great, exciting things that I never thought I would ever do again. But here I am. So I will keep you guys posted. I'll be back though. True Carmireli ain't going anywhere. Sounds good. You can use this time for more research. Hell yeah. I mean, I don't know how much more research we can do. I think Dylan and I have done enough research on Richie. I think pretty much everything that needs to know about Richie is out there. Did Richard's brother used to abuse Ruth? I don't know where you get that information from. I have never heard that. So I don't believe that at all. So no. To me, that's a no, an answer. Ain't nobody done more research than this team. For real, Brandon. I was like, we have done their research. And when I mean research, we have done their research. Like, for crying out loud, I went to El Paso. Can't get any more depth than that. So, I don't know what more research people want. We can't really uncover his body. He's dust. So, incredible research, exactly. Hey, it's my first time in the live. Welcome, my love. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. I hope if you enjoy this episode, go on and watch the rest of them. We'll be back. This is our last, the second to last episode before we kind of go. Know your goofy wiki shit. Oh my goodness. Also, is it true Richard and Ted Bundy used to write in jail? Yes. Richard wrote to Ted Bundy, and in a letter, and I think that Ted Bundy, before he was executed, sent a letter back to Richard saying, I see you in hell. And I think that was it. So they didn't have a lot of communication, but I know that Richard did write to Ted Bundy. Richie Ramirez fans need to know Richie's life in San Quentin prison, please. This is why we're making the movie. A lot of that stuff will be shown. Can't talk a lot about it because we're not, until it comes out, we'll know. But yeah. But Richie's life in prison wasn't that great. I'll give you that. To say the least, it wasn't great. He wasn't. No more like. Oh, is Brandon El Paso having a? What is going on between you two over there? Yeah, son of Sam. I actually haven't pulled him up. So apparently Brandon says he looks like him. I don't see the resemblance. But whatever you say, Brandon. Also, for some reason, I'm getting this cool, like, 90s, like, lighting on me. I don't know if it's the sun in the back. But it looks fucking fantastic, and I'm here for it. Especially because I'm all about the 90s. Clearly, I have Velcro pants on and fucking flannel, so I'm in the 90s mood. So this light is a perfection. All right. Any more questions, thoughts, concerns, ideas? Maybe you want to give me an idea of who you want me to talk to about next Thursday before we end the season. Who could it be? Maybe we'll do a special. I don't fucking know. We'll find out. All these messages. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, did you guys see that movie, Talk to Me? That was an interesting movie. I actually saw it last weekend. So last weekend that I saw it, or 2 weeks? I don't know when I saw it, 2 weeks ago. But it was Talk About You. Talking about me, Brandon? Yes, the similarities between RR and Son of Sam. Yes, we'll talk about that when we start talking about Son of Sam with Dillon, because it's very interesting. But also, I found out that the shit that he was saying wasn't true, that he was just making shit up, and he admitted to it. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. But I saw that movie, Talk to Me. It was really good. I'm a huge fan of horror movies, clearly. And it was really good. I like the ending. But they actually have, I just read somewhere, they're going to do a second movie sequel. So let's see how it goes. I thought it could have been a bit more scary, because I like to be jump scare and shit like that, and it wasn't much like that. So yeah, like go into your background, how you got into all this in depth. Oh, that might be a possibility for my next episode. We'll see. That's a good idea, Brandon. It's a good idea. Thinking about it. I want to do that. I wanted to have an episode based on why I do this, why I'm interested, what's the fascination with serial killers and true crime. But I wasn't sure when. So I don't know if I want to do it either next week or maybe in the next season, something like that. So that's a good idea, though. I was thinking about it. Que viva true CRIMERELI forever. That's right. That's right. And I'm very thankful for all of you to just every Thursday make a commitment of hopping on and saying hi to me and talking to me and Dillon and asking questions. And the best fucking thing I did was go fucking live with this shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thank Gustavo, my partner in crime, the one that made True CRIMERELI with me, because he gave me the idea of like, I think you need to interact with fans. I think you need to go on and just be live, and I did it, and that was the best fucking decision of my life. Do one of your favorite cases. There's 2 episodes on season 1, Richard Ramirez. Go check that out. I don't know how many more episodes I can do on that, man, because, excuse me, I don't even know anymore what to talk about. So, downtown is lit today. It is lit today. Also, this episode is brought to you by Topo Chico, because I'm obsessed with Topo Chico. I love Topo Chico. If you don't know what Topo Chico is, you better go get some and then talk to me. All right, let me see here. All right, any more questions, thoughts, concerns before Dillon hops on? Is it raining in downtown today? No, But it's really cloudy, but now it's sunny. Really weird. Like right now it's sunny, but when I got home from work, it was cloudy. So maybe it did. I don't know. Did it rain? Did it rain by you? What's your apartment building like? Is it haunted? Well, my apartment is older than the Cecil. My apartment was built in 1905, and it was the original building for where the trains would come in. And it's thousands of people would come in all the time. It's very haunted. I heard the 5th floor is extremely haunted to the point where dogs would jump out through the window to kill themselves. There is a story about a neighbor. I don't know. I think this is before I moved here, but this neighbor kept smelling the smell, and it just wouldn't. It didn't want to know where the smell was coming from. Apparently, the neighbor upstairs had died like a month previous, and the dog. So it was a dead body for a month, and that smell, what they were smelling, was the dead body, and the dead body of the dog rotten. So, Carm's building, dope. Look inside. It's cool. My building's very cool. Carmi, do you still have any contact with the Ramirez family? I respect them and I love them, and I want to give them their privacy. We've done all the research that needed to be done, and that, I don't need to be bothering them with unnecessary questions. So, but they're doing good. Dillon is on! Dillon! Yow! Ow, ow, ow! Sound like the dog. Speaking of that, where is my dog? I'm just like, she's too quiet. Where you at? Oh, she's sleeping. All right. Son of Sam. I'm interested because I don't know much about Son and Sam, so I kind of did my little research beforehand because I realized that I should just start on the spot talking about things that I do not know, because I like learning things on the spot, and it's cool. And if you guys are watching me, even better. Right? So, Dillon, you just hop on, Dillon, whenever you're ready, man. And let me see. Remember to pay here. See if I can find this fool. Aha! I found it. The interview of David? I haven't seen, I don't know. Like, I don't know why. I gotta watch some more stuff of him. Stop seeing that. I just, no, okay. Can y'all move away, ads? I'm trying to get this thing going. Hi, my love. Hi. What's interesting, what I want to know, and I wonder if he ever talked about it, was if David confessed to why he did it. I have a feeling, I have a little suspicion of why I think he may have done it, especially with the females. Because he killed a couple of females that were like, I think, brunette and long hair. I have a suspicion there. So, Dillon and I will talk about it when he comes on, but that's why I'm like, what was the reasoning? Because before... Let me not get into it too deep right now. Let me wait. Look at all these beautiful people joining. It's so pretty. Also, I think I have a thing for straight hair right now. I'm digging it. I'm digging the straight hair. And I'm going to grow it out, so I might have long hair. We'll see. That's interesting. Very interesting. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to check out the interview. I'm here for it. Was it on Netflix, the interview? I gotta look that up. All right, so while we're waiting on Dillon, I'm going to say a little bit of him. So David Richard Berkowitz, That's me right now. David Richard Berkowitz, I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, better known by his nickname Son of Sam or the .44 caliber killer, is an infamous serial killer who confessed to killing 6 people and wounding several others in New York City in the late 1970s. They are suspecting that there's a lot of more unresolved crimes that he committed, but they weren't. It wasn't. They didn't finish. They kind of considered it open. Till this day, it's still open. And he was born Richard David Falco in Brooklyn, New York, to Betty Broder and Joseph Kleinman. Broder was married to Tony Falco and had a daughter with him. Although Falco abandoned her, they never divorced. She later had an affair with the married Kleinman. When Broder told Kleinman that she was pregnant, he told her to get rid of the baby. However, Broder had the baby and listed Falco as the father. A few days after his birth, the baby was adopted by Nathan and Pearl Berkowitz, a Jewish couple who reversed the order of the baby's first and middle names. So he was adopted. The mom put him for adoption. Oh, nice. So off the bat, this kid already being adopted, 3 days coming onto this earth. There goes that trauma. David's childhood was somewhat troubled. Although of above average intelligence, he lost interest in learning at an early age and began an infatuation with petty larceny and pyromania. Fire, which is crazy. A lot of, back in the day, they would say like the hints of a child that would become a serial killer were either, fire, hurting animals. Peeing in their bed was another sign. If they were peeing in their bed a lot, it was a sign that they were going to have that. So he was into pyromania. He was an avid baseball player and earned a reputation as something of a bully in his neighborhood. Pearl died of breast cancer. I think that was his mom, who adopted mom. Always closer to his mother, David's tense relationship with his father became even more strained, and he disliked the women Nathan later married. He joined the U.S. Army in 1971 and was active until 1974. He managed to avoid service in the Vietnam War, instead serving in both the U.S. and South Korea. Afterwards, he toyed with Christianity and located his birth mother, but after a few visits, he learned the details of his conception and birth and they fell out of contact with one another. He worked at several jobs as a security guard and was employed by the U.S. Postal Service at the time of his arrest. This fool was giving your mail out while he was killing people. The audacity. The audacity. So, while we're waiting, Dillon, where you at? Hop on. While we're waiting for Dillon, the first attacks, he claimed that his first attack on women occurred in late 1975 when he said he attacked 2 women with a knife on Christmas Eve. One alleged victim was never identified, but Charles Montaldo writes that the other victim, Michelle Foreman, was hospitalized due to her wounds. He was never charged with any of these murders. Oh, wait, there's Dillon. To his home in Yonkers. And then in the summer of 1976, the series of shootings began. This is where his stuff kind of became like popular and all that stuff. Dillon, oh boy! Is that the Ted Bundy mask though? That's creepy. Oh, is that what he wore? Oh, that is some creepy shit. I like that mask though.
Thank you.
What's going on? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I was sending the request thing. So I had to.
Literally just saw the request. It wasn't even blinking.
I had to close it out and everything.
Son
of Sam.
Son of Sam. So I was telling you earlier that I did try to watch a documentary on Netflix, but it was poorly done, I feel like, because it was like, I just lost interest after the second episode. I tried to rewatch it, and I was like, eh. But I think this will be a better episode than the Netflix one anyways. I believe anyways. So, Son of Sam. So, I we're talking about his childhood. He was born, His mom didn't want him. He was orphaned. He was like 3 days, getting to this earth. He was adopted. He had a horrible childhood, like very traumatic. He had head trauma. He was a bully. And he got into larceny and a lot of pyromania.
Right. Another soldier.
I know. That's what I noticed. As I was reading, I'm like, oh, he went into war. But the thing is that he already had these weird issues before he went to war. Do you think that the war made it worse?
Well, it seems to be. Every one of these serial killers, 9 times out of 10, are some kind of veteran from some kind of war. So,
yeah, something.
It's like these guys are traumatized already in childhood, and then they go to war, and it's like comes back even worse.
Well, someone said he didn't see combat.
But yeah, with the training, they really get their butts kicked during training and kind of like destroyed mentally and rebuilt again. So who knows? They're trained to be.
I'm pretty sure, even though he wasn't in combat, like I'm pretty sure he would see some shit from the other soldiers.
And they're still trained to kill, whether they see combat or not. Whether they're someone who's into journalism overseas, still in the army or Marines or whatever, they're still trained to kill.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And then when I noticed when he came back, while he was doing his crime, he was working at the U.S. Postal Service. So he was giving people mail. That's insane. That's insane. He was just, I'll shoot you, and then here's your mail. Uh-huh. What I did notice, though, because the shootings, like, he would come up to people and shoot them in the car.
Right.
But what I noticed was that a lot of the girls that he was shooting, or that he did hurt, they had long brunette hair. There were specific types of looks. Do you think, this was my weird question earlier that we weren't on, and I wanted to ask and see what you thought. My suspicion is that was like his mom. He had a hatred for his mom abandoning him. What do you think?
Well, it definitely could be. A lot of serial killers, for some reason, psychologically are kind of stuck with one particular trauma causer in their life. I guess it could be a mother, like Gacy, it was his father. Ted Bundy was a girlfriend, so I could definitely see that.
Yeah. Someone, El Paso said like Ted Bundy.
Yep.
Yeah, they had a specific type, which was, to me, there has to be either someone who broke their heart and they were furious, or it had to be like family, like mom,
Yeah.
So as far as Son of Sam, I mean, we don't need to go into details of the fucking crimes because we know about Son of Sam. What about Son of Sam fascinates you, Devin?
Well, it always fascinated me. I don't know too much about the story, to be honest, because I don't know. There are so many serial killers out there. So there are some that interest me more, of course. But the one thing that did catch my attention about this one is that apparently the whole Son of Sam, what I understand, comes from his dog or a neighbor's dog that he would yeah.
The dog's name's him, yeah.
I thought that was pretty wild.
But I heard that was bullshit, and that he later said that was all made up.
Who knows, man? Well,
that was why I was interested in Son of Sam, was because the story about how the dog made him do all this shit, and he was possessed by this dog, the neighbor's dog named Sam, was a demon. But then later on, I read that he said he made this shit up.
You never know, man. I mean, it's like you see a lot of these court trials, and they deny things they said in the initial interrogation because they've had the advice of their lawyers. I always tend to think that when a serial killer is initially caught, they're telling the truth at that point in time. I know when Gacy was caught, he spilled it all out.
Yeah.
When Ramirez was caught, he said, "It's me, man. I'm the Night Stalker, man." So
yeah.
I don't know. It's like when they're caught initially, I think the weight of the guilt, the seriousness of the crime, wanting to get the burden of what they've done off of their chest is something that they're more prone to do when being caught, as opposed to after years or months waiting for trial. And with the direction of their lawyer, they tend to recant certain things they said initially. So, you know, if they're working towards a specific kind of deal to avoid the death penalty or etc., you know, they change what they said, and they, like I said, they go based upon the direction of their lawyer. So I don't know. He could have made that up for sure, but I think there's maybe some truth to it. He seemed to have had some kind of mental illness.
There has to be a reason why he did it, because that was my question. Like, what made him do that? What was his reasoning? And if it wasn't this demonic dog that was possessing him, then what was it?
There are some demonic animals, man. I can tell you that.
Oh, that's for sure. I can agree with you on that, man.
Ninel enters the chat.
Ninel's like, yes. I don't know where she's probably sleeping.
See what I mean? He's busy, man, doing something.
She's like, I'm over here trying to chant my other demons to come out. Leave me alone, Mom.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to talk about. But then I read that it was supposedly not true. So here's my question: what do you think made him do it? Brandon, is demonic. He will pump you to death. That's demonic as it is.
That's what I'm saying, man. She's a serial humper. Anyway, back to
on the next episode, True Crimereli.
That's right, man. Jeez, what makes any of these guys do it? Who knows? Maybe it's just I think it's generally based in some kind of hatred, which goes back to what you said with your idea that he was trying to shoot his mother repeatedly. So I don't know. I think the resentment, hatred builds up to the point where it just needs a release, and depending upon their crooked mentality, they somehow find their release by killing people. And I think that's what happened. And I think that's kind of the story of all serial killers.
Do you think he just wanted validation and he wanted attention and did all this? Because the media became really big with him.
It could be. I mean, when they caught him, he had an ear-to-ear grin, so he looked like he was definitely...
You know, and after his murder spree, there were the Son of Sam laws, which is still in New York, I think, as a mistake. I'm reading it. And it's like, the law was, so like criminals can't get money off of the store or whatever they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these serial killers, once they're caught, and not all, but a lot of them, they just really soak up the attention with interviews and things like that. I mean, I'm sure he was one of them. Ted Bundy, when they were interviewing him, man, he was just smiling. And he was on Jimmy Kimmel or something. So I don't know. They really love attention. So I would agree with that.
El Paso goes, the letters to the police is like the Zodiac. He had.
That's right.
I feel like these people study other serial killers. And they were like, what is the best way that I can do this and be original, but also rip off another serial killer's idea?
Yeah.
Because, like, this is where I'm confused. I don't understand why he would have done this. Was it because he was an orphan? Was it because what happened with his mom? Was it because he wasn't abused from what I've gathered, you know?
Well, you know, who knows? Maybe it's just that.
I know he had trauma. He had ADHD. I know that. He could have easily. I mean, with the head trauma, Dylan, like we always talk about it. It opens portals, man.
Yeah.
It opens portals.
Who knows? I mean, maybe he had trouble with women. You know, a lot of these people, a lot of these serial killers. It's pretty gross and twisted, but they derive some kind of a sexual interaction by either stabbing, shooting, So maybe Son of Sam shooting these women was some kind of like subconscious sexual act to him, getting that thrill and excitement. Who knows?
That could be a reason.
But right here in the comments, someone said that Son of Sam today is apparently a born-again Christian. So who knows, man? Who knows? I know Bianchi also. And
Dahmer. Wasn't Dahmer baptized?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. There has to be, and this is where the demonic talk comes in, because I just love talking about shit like that, because this is what I do. But there has to be an aspect of him where he was somehow either practicing weird satanic shit, was a fan of satanic shit, or was literally mentally ill, and or also, option D, he was really possessed by something.
Yeah.
I just...
Option E.
Oh.
He could have been programmed. I know it's a big conspiracy theory out there, but...
My demonic dog. Say hi.
There she is. There's a lot of people out there who have the idea that some of these serial killers, and I think Son of Sam would definitely be one of those, where they think that certain group of people program individuals to cause mayhem, to cause horror like this within society.
Wasn't that the MK Ultra? Is that what it's called?
MK Ultra.
They say that Charles Manson was programmed to do that shit.
Right.
You think that David was as well?
He's a good candidate for it. I mean, he didn't seem very intelligent, really. He seemed like a guy who maybe could have been programmed. Who knows? I mean, then you add the satanic element. It's definitely, I think if there's a candidate for programming, I'm sure I feel like he would be one of them.
El Paso saying apparently he wasn't working alone. Some kind of theory of a possible cult activity.
Exactly.
What makes you think that it was a cult activity, El Paso? That's the question I have for you.
See, that makes me lean towards the idea of being a programmed killer.
If there was a group of people doing it?
Yeah. I mean, generally that's the idea. Some kind of group that's connected to another group that's connected to another group. They mind control certain people that are suggestible. And they program them in a way where they instill certain ideas and programs that even after they carry them out, they really don't understand how or why they did it.
Wow.
So, I mean, he kind of falls under that
I'm gonna look this
bracket
up.
there.
Thinking, hold on, because where I'm reading it here doesn't say that, but I'm about to do my research live, bitches.
You gotta change it up, man.
Change it up, man.
Gotta throw in that curveball.
And now I'm gonna grab it all. Son of Sam. Is that what you're writing? Question mark? More.
Hey, thanks. Thanks, man. I don't know. I like to change it up and be a little interesting here. I used to watch this one guy who used to have a program, and he used to talk about weird and interesting stuff. And every time he would come on, he'd add something different on. So I guess that's me with my beanie here.
Someone said, although he eventually claimed from prison for 6 consecutive life sentences that he acted in concert with others as part of a satanic cult, the official narrative remained that he was the sole culprit. So,
well,
I'm getting that there was a group.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we can even bring in Richard Ramirez in here in the sense that once the cops, these serial killers apparently cause all this horror in the city.
Yeah.
And the cops, media, make it to be about one guy, like Richard Ramirez, right?
Yeah.
And then by the time they catch him, they just want to throw it all at him. And like Son of Sam, maybe if there was a group, it would still leave the whole case open, and they would need to find that group, and who knows? I mean, that's a whole other plate of drama. Yeah. So why not just, that's all lies, even though they know it's a group. Let's just focus on Son of Sam, David Berkowitz, and then maybe without the public's attention or knowledge, they look for the group behind the scenes. But they don't want to involve other people, even though they know they may be involved, simply because it wouldn't seem as clean of a capture if you say, well, we got one of them, but there's 3 more out there. The public would be still shocked and horrified and in an outcry for justice. But if you say, no, there's no group, let's just focus on this David Berkowitz guy, then that kind of sounds like the police did their job. A lot like Ramirez and Gil Carrillo and all that. It's like, yeah, he definitely killed a great number of the people that he was convicted for, but there's a lot of shady stuff there. And it sounds like they just, once they found him, once they caught him, it's like, let's just call it a day and focus on Ramirez when there could have been more people. So I think it's similar.
There's a lot of fear at the time, also due to frequent blackouts in the city. Yeah, I mean, it just sucks that this is the thing with the police. It's just, if there was a group of people doing this with them, I feel like they should have brought the whole group to justice, not just David. Yes, granted, like with Charles Manson, they brought the whole group in,
Right.
Even though Charles Manson didn't really kill anyone, he did send them out to kill, so he was blamed. He was considered a serial killer, right?
Right.
So David should have gotten that whole group, in trouble as well, and that's what's weird.
Well, the thing is with those kinds of high-end, we'll say, maybe kind of like a dark conspiracy, rich, corrupt group, it's a lot harder to get in touch with those people who maybe be in control of government, or also as opposed to a bunch of strung out kids in California. What I mean? It's easier to convict those Charlie's kids as opposed to behind the scenes shadow government type people.
I don't know. I always think that the police is always behind these shit. I feel like the police always knows more than that.
Yeah, I think so too. Ski Mask has a bank robbery vibe. Hey, thanks, Ted Lames.
He got some Ted Bundy vibes today.
Give me some money. Give me some money.
I got Ninel. You can serial hump. She look at me like this. She's like, I've been there, done that, Mom.
Yeah. I'm a victim. I'm a victim.
We're all victims of Ninel. I can tell you that, guys.
We should really make an episode on Ninel and create this whole elaborate story about.
She wants to say. What do you want to say? She came over. What do you want to say to Dillon?
Yeah, about her crime spree.
What do you want to say? Say. I did not have sexual relationship with Dillon's leg.
All right.
She was railroaded.
We're going to Main Street Court, man.
Guys, Main Street Court is happening right now. That's it. Oh my God.
Well, what interests you the most about this case, Carm?
Well, it was the fact that the whole thing with the dog, because I was like, what the fuck was he smoking? One. And two, if he wasn't smoking anything, what the fuck was he like ritual-wise doing to assume that the dog was a demon? Where does this demon dog come from anyway? And did that dog really exist? And did his neighbor really exist? So I was just like, I'm curious.
Yeah.
When it comes to like serial killers and connecting them with like satanic things and demons and spirits, you know, I'm the first one. I'm like, oh, this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
So that was my curiosity. I was like, what happened? But I don't know, because now they're saying that he claimed that it was false. Like, I honestly, like, from what I read, it seemed that he made up that story so that people would think he was insane and not go to jail for life.
Yeah.
So,
I thought he mentioned that stuff in the letters to the cops, though.
that he didn't do it? That he didn't have the dog?
Whole Son of Sam stuff. Isn't that where they got the name for him, through the letters he was?
Yeah.
So he was.
Yeah, it wasn't the letters, but then he later on, when he was arrested and he was supposedly telling the crime, he said that he made up that story.
I don't know, man.
But
Who knows?
I don't know. Like,
I think
I
it's.
want to know who the dog is. More importantly, I don't care about David. Who is this dog? Who is this dog?
Yeah, it's either mind control people, I think, or some dog telling them.
I think I'm in favor. I think I'm going to vote for it was mind control. I think that shit does exist. Yeah. I think David was one of those victims. I think, to be honest, a lot of the serial killers were controlled.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Like, I think Richard Ramirez somehow was in that fucking circle.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sam.
El Paso says that apparently there are Freemasons in the police force. They protect their own. That's right, man. You better believe it.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of shit that goes down that I'm just like, the cops didn't know about this? That makes no sense. It's a corrupted world, guys. And it's very corrupted.
And it's going to get worse.
And it's going to get worse.
Yeah, that dog was like, Arf! Go kill. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. That was my curiosity. Oh, and it was a black Labrador retriever. So it wasn't a demon. It was possessed by a demon. That's even more interesting. It was a demon dog. No, it was a dog that was possessed by demons.
That's what I'm saying.
His name was Harvey. So where did Sam come from? So he said that the Sam he mentioned in his first letter when he was brought in for questioning was Sam Carr. Sam was the neighbor who had a dog by the name of Harvey. Right. Harvey was possessed by an ancient demon that commanded him to murder people, specifically young and pretty girls.
Yeah.
Yes, Brandon. Green eggs and ham. I am.
So Brandon's actually the doppelganger of Sam.
You know what's funny? I didn't see it until I saw one of the other pictures. I was like, oh, from here up? Like,
yeah.
I get it, Brandon. I totally get it now.
He's son of your mama.
He's the son of your mama.
But you know what? It's like if they'll say David Berkowitz really heard the dog telling him, go kill people. I mean, that's some severe mental illness, man.
Look at this. Look at this. David Fincher's Mindhunter actually touches on what David admitted, that the demon dog story was just an attempt to get the insanity plea. After becoming a born-again Christian, he would also claim that he wasn't acting alone when he was on a serial killing crime spree from July 1976 to July 1977, which was a sentiment echoed by many. So he wanted to pretty much be insane.
Well, that's what I'm saying here is that if the dog really was talking to him, that's some really severe mental illness, man. And if you're that severely distorted mentally, you're going to be like that, and it's going to even decline more so being incarcerated. So the fact is that he's not mentally ill to that degree because he's very articulate. So I don't know. It does sound like a cover up. Like I said, I don't necessarily buy the dog story.
Yeah.
I think it was something bigger and greater than that.
But apparently he belonged to a satanic cult. Right?
I think so. You know, not all Satanists look like Richard Ramirez with pentagrams.
That's true,
stuff
yeah.
like that. A lot of Satanists basically are people who feel detached from society, maybe had something happen in their life where they question the norm, and they find something else. And for them, it's Satanism or the worship of Satan, maybe not through the means of the satanic church, but maybe a kind of self-styled satanic group.
Yeah.
And it piques their interest, man. And yeah, you don't have to look like Richard Ramirez to be that kind of person. Yeah. So I could see it. You know, even today, a lot of the underground or kind of like back alley type lives dip into that stuff, like in New York and LA. If you, I don't know how I know this, but I'll just pretend like I know this. They, they stray from society, and then they start talking to different types of people who are on the fringes of this world, and a lot of them are somehow involved in some kind of satanic group. It could be as simple as Son of Sam walking into a bar or even the library, and someone saying, "Hey, what's that book about?" "Oh, let's talk about this." And from there, that plants a seed, and next thing you know, they're killing people. So,
well, here's the one thing, because I did mention Charles Manson with him. This is the weird thing that I just found out. It's pretty interesting. Is it possible that the Son of Sam killings were inspired by a cult with which Charles Manson was reportedly involved? So once the ties between David and Carr brothers came to light, more evidence supported that the three of them were involved in a cult. It all goes back to 1966 when the Process Church of the Final Judgment was created that preached the teachings of Jehovah, Lucifer, Satan, and along with Jesus Christ as an emissary. Members of the church raised and kept German shepherds as companions, and the church itself published a magazine titled The Process, to which Charles Manson contributed. And many of the Process Church devotees believe that this cult grew into a network of Satan worshipers, one of these offshoots being the children. In a conversation with Mari Terry, David did tell his involvement with the children. He and Sam's sons, the Carr brothers, used to go to the Untermeyer Park in Yonkers, New York. There'd be people getting high and going through some rituals. They were into the cult. I met some people there who said they were witches. There were animal sacrifices and other dark and ugly things happening. The animal sacrifices were typically, wait for it, German shepherds. Mm-hmm. So that's very interesting. Mm-hmm. And now that makes sense with the MK Ultra.
Yeah.
That's like,
right.
The shit I be finding out on the spot.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I thought this episode wasn't going to be that interesting, but it turns out to be pretty interesting.
Come on, man. How can it not be interesting? You got a fucking Ted Bundy ski mask on.
Yeah, that's true.
It said Helter Skelter. Yeah. That's Charles Manson, man. That guy.
I'm not particularly a conspiracy theory. I mean, I think a lot of them are interesting.
Yeah.
Some of them definitely may be true. But a lot of those types of people, I think they have like certain kind of truths, but then they just go too far. And then they start adding all this really crazy element to it, and then it makes it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of kills what true thing they're saying.
Yeah.
But I think there are aspects of certain conspiracy theories that do make a lot of sense, especially like what you're talking about there, and just the different groups and things that people have found considering Satanism. I was watching this one documentary a couple of years ago about this particular park. I think it was on the East Coast, and they didn't quite capture the people, but there were a lot of sightings in this park of satanic worship and animal mutilation and all this kind of crazy stuff. And it's like, it really is out there.
Yeah.
The worst kind of it. And I wouldn't say these are Church of Satan people, but rather, like I said, self-styled Satanism, where they're doing really bad stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it has to do with the abuse of animals, kids, people, whatever.
Yeah.
They're out there. They're out there, and they do, I believe, try to control certain individuals' minds in order to act out and create havoc in the world. Even Hollywood, I mean, obviously has a huge element of that within their structure of who they are. A lot of that is satanic type stuff, so it's definitely there. And
now, here's my question to you: do you think that MK Ultra exists today?
What was that? I was reading Brandon's comment.
Brandon's. Oh, I mean, yeah, you find those chickens. I find those chickens ever, even in downtown and parks. You're like, oh, I'm not walking near that shit.
Yeah. I remember down there on Spring Street, we used to go to a place there, and we were talking to the owners, and they were saying that they're kind of freaked out because the establishment next to theirs, when they got there to open it up for the day, it was blood smeared all over the door, and there was a dead chicken right there. So, like, they had cursed that place. Really weird stuff. But what was your question, Carm? 4 hours.
Oh, do you think that MK Ultra exists today?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe not that exact program, but I think a different. You know what? The shadow government has just as many programs and new programs as our regular standard government, I think, and I think they're always in a process of doing. I mean, look at who's that guy? I can't remember his name. That he when The Dark Knight came out, he shot up the theater and he colored his hair.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, they say he was mind controlled as well.
Do you think that MK Ultra is done in this modern time through social media?
Social media?
I think social media is a form of MK Ultra.
I wouldn't deny it. I think there's something weird with social media. I think there's something really weird with the internet and all that kind of. Maybe I'm just old, but I don't know. It seems like the power that we have with the internet and that kind of technology. I don't know, man. Seems something off about it. If you really step back and look at it, like.
Because, the internet, once the internet came on, great, but once social media started happening, Instagram, MySpace, Facebook, it's just a lot of, you see, the mass shootings, the school shootings. It's increased.
Yeah, and it's like,
and
it's not as...
You can't blame it on violence. Violence in movies has always been around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And music, and it's just... I don't know. You can't. It's weird.
Yeah, mind control has been going on for a long time. I think social media is a type of programming.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And and they admit it to the point of these Zuckerberg and Facebook and people like that. they control and they have an agenda with their algorithms and what they post and what's trending and what people are hearing and what they're feeling and all that kind of thing. So they're very blatant coming out saying, yeah, we do control what you see, what you hear on a daily basis. So if they admit that much, they're probably, I always say if the news or the cops or whoever admits a certain aspect of sketchy behavior, that means what they're actually really hiding is something far worse.
Yeah.
So
I
agree with that for sure.
That's true. All right, guys. It's fucking shit. It's already going to be 8. This is insane to me. fucking time goes by fast. Guys, Dylan, do you have any ideas for the last episode for the season? What do you want to talk about? Is there like any thoughts, ideas, concerns? Should we let people vote for our last episode of season 2?
I don't know. I guess I could pick somebody.
Do you want to pick somebody like that you really like? It can be anyone. It can be fictional, non-fictional, mass shooter, monster, Loch Ness monster. I mean,
Bigfoot.
I mean, they kill people or something like that. So as long as they do something bad, they're in this fucking show. Shrek can be in here. Don't make Shrek happen.
Oh man.
But I like Shrek, man. Come on, Puss in Boots. I like Puss in Boots too. I'm just saying. He's done crying. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You should make a 2-hour podcast. We'll make a 2-hour podcast maybe for Halloween special. We'll all dress up as somebody. We'll do that shit.
Geesh. Who was I watching?
Or should we just have Skinwalkers?
Ooh, that sounds like October, man. Something spooky.
That's an October thing, but that's a good one, El Paso. I'm trying to think. What can we go with a bang?
That is a good one.
The last episode could be the Amityville killings. Okay.
That sounds spooky.
That's a Halloween episode.
I like this stuff. I like these suggestions. It's very
Dylan's trying to pick. He's
trying to pick here. Who's somebody interesting in this world? Let's do Columbine. It's a little different.
Columbine it is.
Plus, I think some few people had mentioned it before they wanted
Columbine it is, and we haven't done a mass shooter yet, so
that's right.
I think it's time. We'll end season 2 with Columbine. Very good. I know someone around's gonna be super happy. They're like, fuck yeah, about time, and actually all fucking year.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about Columbine, but also just the other mass shooters as well.
Yeah, we can do a mass shoot episode.
Because the funny thing is that with the mass shooters, because it's like one particular event, there's not like a whole case history like with serial killers.
Yeah.
So it's just about what they did in that particular moment. And a lot of these mass killers, I mean, Columbine's a little different because there's quite a bit to talk about there.
Yeah.
But I know of others that there's really not much to talk about them other than that one specific moment. So you could throw in a couple more in there.
Well, even the one that was the most recent, the one that in Laredo? The guy that went in and, tried to shoot his grandma, but she survived and he killed himself. So we can talk about all that stuff on Thursday.
Yeah.
And how social media affects that shit. Because I blame it. And gun laws. That's a different story.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on shit on Thursday. But
and the biggest one I think too is bullying, man. Bullying.
You know what, Dylan? More than bullying, it's mental illness. It's the mental illness, depression.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
let's face it. But before we're done, a lot of people. I was bullied all my life in school, and it's like you don't see me killing people. I mean, I do have a Chucky in me. I do have a Chucky in me, but I don't kill people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, I mean, to kill a bunch of people, you have to have some kind of mental illness. So what happens is they already have that, and then that bullying on top of it just pushes it overboard.
Exactly. So, but we'll talk about that next Thursday because it's 8:03 already, and time went by fast. But I love you guys. Next Thursday, episode 12, Dillon and I talk about mass shooters. It's our last episode for season 2. So y'all better hop on, promote, and talk and shit, or I'm gonna fucking find your asses. I'm gonna fucking find all your asses. Alright. Good night, cutie patootie. Good night, guys.
Later.